Mark Wills, I've never asked you this, but when that record came out, did you have a lot of people asking you what it meant, how she could get the postcard if a guy was killed in a plane crash?
You know, I just said that's the beauty of the song. I did have a lot of people ask me about how did she get the postcard, you know, and I told them, I told them it confused me as well. Because, you know, in the beginning when we recorded the song, I really don't, if it's something I didn't write, I just go with a great song. I try not to overthink it. And that was one of those tunes that the very first time I heard it, I think I told you the story. I was cleaning carpet. My wife and I had just moved into a new condominium, and I was upstairs with the carpet cleaner, cleaning carpet, and had the demo, you know, cassette in a boom box listening to it. And as that song played, I was like, wow. And I stopped and I listened back to it. And I called Carson Chamberlain and I was like, man, this is a hit. This is a huge song. And back in the day, back when we used to get pitched, you know, cassettes, I never wanted a publishing company. I never wanted a songwriter. I never wanted anything on anything that I got. I wanted to listen to the song. I didn't want to be swayed by who wrote the song or what publishing company or anything else it was. So mine always just came with, you know, pitch, 1, 2, 3, you know, whatever. And so, you know, as we dove into the song and recorded it and of course released it, people would go, you know, when did he get the postcard? And I would always say, that's the beauty of it. You know, it was kind of one of those God things. You know, he was gone, and that was his last word to her was, you know, the chorus.
The original title of that song was Postcards from Heaven.
Did I ever, really?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story about walking through the Atlanta airport? That song was #1. I was heading to Vegas or somewhere to do a fair buyer convention, and I was going out a day early to go to Vegas and do something. And I was walking through the Atlanta airport, and if you've ever been to the Atlanta airport, back in the day, they had those orange lights in the parking garage. And I get my suitcase, and I'm walking, and I see something laying on the ground from a long distance away, something glowing. And as I'm walking, pulling my suitcase, I get up to it, and it was a postcard laying in the parking garage that said, "Wish you were here." And I turned around and I went back to the truck and drove home. I was like, I'm not getting on a plane this morning. And I didn't. I did not go out that day. I rescheduled my flight for the next day and flew out to the Fair Buyer Convention in Vegas to go out and do what I had to do. But I was going out a day early, and I was like, no, not this morning, I'm not. And turned around and went home.
You never told me that. Thanks for sharing that.
That scared me.
This might be a good time for you to explain it to us since you wrote it. I mean, couldn't you kind of let us in on
what happened?
Songwriters have killed more people than Cecil B. DeMille.
Did they mail it before he got on the plane?
I see you mailed it that morning.
I figured he bought it at the airport and put it in the mail before we flew out.
What did you not get about that, Wills?
Where did he get it, Bill?
I got it. I cut it. It was a #1. I didn't have to explain it.
Works for me.
There you go.
Hey, Bill, I have to tell you, though, this, hadn't thought of this in a while. I got a postcard from Ben Smathers about 6-8 months after he died.
Ben Smathers, the
Ben
Stony Mountain
Smathers of
Clogger
the
Square
Stony
Dance
Mountain
Group.
Cloggers. Hal Durham got one, too. Wow. And it said, Hal's, he said, I was talking to George Morgan today. No, that was in mine. He said, I was talking to George Morgan today and told him he missed your pumpkin pie again this Thanksgiving. And then Hal Durham, he said, yeah, I saw Ralph Sloan the other day. He's still drunk.
Well, who said that to you?
So, Ben did it. You know, we all know Ben Smathers was a riot anyway. And somebody said, I forget now, they thought that he sent them to Jerry Bird in Hawaii and asked him to mail them. 6 or 8 months after he was gone. But I remember going to the mailbox, getting them like, oh, wow, I got a postcard from Ben. I got a postcard from Ben. It freaked me out.
What did he say? Like, I told you I was sick?
No, he just told me he saw George Morgan and talked about my pumpkin pie. Yeah, and told you I was sick. Yeah, that's on his tombstone. It's on his headstone. Yeah.
Hey, you guys may not know it, but this lady that's telling this story has got the brand new Star in the Walkway downtown Nashville. Walkway of the Stars, yes.
If it
Why didn't you
wasn't
bring it
so-
with you?
If it wasn't so heavy, I was going to bring it and put it right here. So we got some chalk. I'm going to do it before the next break.
You had a great line they quoted in the newspaper about what you said.
At the end of my little speech, thanking everybody, I said, I think this will be the first time in my career that I won't mind being walked on. And my little 4-year-old granddaughter was real serious, and she said, Daddy, who wants to walk on Grammy? It's like, just let me at them.
Okay, so if people come to town, where do they find your Star in the
Somebody
Walkway?
told me it's right straight across from the Hall of Fame. I said, I may never get into the hall, but I can see it from here. No, it was an incredible honor and very much a surprise to me, and couldn't have gone in with a greater bunch. It was Brenda Lee, Ben Folds, and Ray Stevens and me, so it was fun. There were some great comments up there on the stage that day.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you
Very
so
much
much.
deserved.
I
You're going to sing
appreciate
is this a cowboy song?
Yeah, that's why I'm dressed. You can see by my outfit that I am a cowgirl. Get you an outfit, you can be a cowgirl too.
Well, tell me about the song, because there's a story behind the song,
Yeah,
right?
it's called Life of a Rodeo Cowboy. And years ago, when Hank and I still had the farm out there, my nephew Shane Seely, who lives in Reno, Nevada, was a rodeo rider. And he and a couple of friends came back to visit. And so about 3 days after they got there, we were having lunch somewhere, and Shane and his friends came in, and he said, we just came by to say goodbye, and thank you. And I said, well, Shane, are you not having a good time? We thought you were going to stay longer. And he said, yeah, it's really been nice being with you, but we heard they were riding bulls down Mesquite, and you know how it is when you're a rodeo cowboy. So I jumped up and hugged him and turned around and got a napkin and wrote this song. Really has been nice being with you. And the funny thing, Merle Haggard recorded it first, and then Chris Ledoux recorded it. I never got to meet him. I always hated that. And just recently, producer Jimmy Capps just recorded it with Mo Bandy. So I'm pretty excited about that. I thought I'd sing it before Mo did the show.
Your own.
And I was going to tell you too that for years I didn't sing it because it was a male lyric. And then it hit me one day, all I have to do is say, he said, in front of it. And then I'm just telling you what he said. So I'm going to tell you what he said.